Hey everybody, Joe from Complete Carnivore, and today we're going to be cooking chicken wings. It's football season, just had daylight savings time, so it's getting dark early. If you're looking for a great football appetizer, I mean, what's better than chicken wings? Maybe fried mozzarella sticks, but those are a little more involved. These are great as an appetizer for Thanksgiving, so everybody loves chicken wings. I don't know. I mean, some people don't like the bones, I guess. But most people who know what they're talking about love chicken wings. So we're going to cook these up. We're going to cook them on the Weber Kettle. I'm going to show you how I do that. But first, we need to get these seasoned. First of all, these wings are from Crowd Cow. And there's some pasture-raised chicken. If you're not familiar with pasture-raised chicken, you need to try some. It's wonderful. It's delicious. You can kind of see even the meat, it's a little bit darker color than you see on traditional birds that you get at the grocery store. I'm going to start seasoning and talk as I season. I'm going to season these with some Hardcore Carnivore Sweet. This is a rub I've recently got, and I love it on wings. It's good on pork. Meat Church Honey Hog is another one I like. This is pretty similar to that. But I like, the kids especially like the sweeter rub on the wings. There's still a little bit of kick to it, a little bit of peppery bite and paprika and all that kind of stuff. The other ones I'm going to use some Spiceology Maui Wowee. This is kind of an Asian type flavor. Brown sugar, pineapple powder, soy sauce powder, sesame seed, paprika, organic rice hulls, and some other seasonings. One thing this doesn't have is salt though. This one, ingredients, white sugar, salt, and brown sugar. So this one has salt. We don't really need to salt the wings. I'm gonna salt these ones though. Just a little sprinkle of kosher salt. Don't need to go crazy with it. And we'll flip them over and we'll do the other side. Pasture-raised chicken, it's raised out on pastures. They have these kind of big movable barn things that they move around on the fields. And these chickens basically live their life outdoors. It's like an open air barn. It's not all closed. It's kind of just a roof to give the chickens a little bit of shelter. But they are on grass. They eat bugs, worms, seeds, and grass, weeds, whatever they can find out there. And the result is a much more flavorful chicken than you get from the factory raised farms and the big giant chicken processing warehouses you see all the videos about. Don't be fooled by free-range chicken. Those are just, by law, they only need access to outdoors, which is usually just a little opening in their barns, so they can get out. But usually they don't. I mean, chickens, once they're in their roost, they want to stay there. Organic is another one that's kind of iffy. Usually those are raised without antibiotics, which is good, and all that. But I think by law, I could be wrong on this, don't quote me. I think they're only mandated like 1 square foot of space. So 1 square foot, that much. That's about as big as a chicken. So they don't get much room to move around. Pasture-raised birds that are out, they're moving around, they're in the fresh air. So much more flavorful meat, healthier meat. It's got more vitamin A, I think more omega-3s, and some other nutrients that you get more in this chicken. Not enough to really make you a healthy person if you eat a lot of chicken wings. But so these are salted. We'll get them seasoned up. Let's start with those. Oh, and these ones, once I'm done, I'm going to toss them in some of this Batchin sauce. This stuff is amazing. It's like a really thick teriyaki type sauce. Pretty much if you imagine an Asian sauce, this kind of hits all the buttons. There's the original hot and spicy and yuzu. We've never really used the yuzu that much. It's pretty good. It's a little more citrusy than these other ones. I'm probably going to go with the spicy because my wife and I are going to be eating these wings. The kids like those ones. They don't really like too much spice. They can do a little bit, but if they want some, they can have it. So I love these sauces. I'll leave links to these and to the rubs below for you as well, so you can give these a try. Definitely give these a try. This stuff is great on chicken. It's great on pork. I've had it on salmon before. I got a really good salmon recipe on my site. I'll link to that too. Flank steak. I love putting this stuff on flank steak and the flank and short ribs. It's great on that. So let's get it seasoned up again. This is Maui Wowee from Spiceology. This one doesn't shake out great. That's one of the problems. You gotta kind of tap the bottle. You want a decent coating. Don't want a ton. Enough to coat the wings. Also, both these rubs have a good amount of sugar, so the wings are going to get dark as the sugar caramelizes. I'm going to flip them all over and get the other side. You can like just put these in a bowl or even a Ziploc bag and put some seasoning in there and toss it. I don't think it covers as good as just shaking it on, so that's why I like to do that. Get them all flipped over. These wings are going to take, it's not a quick cook. It usually takes half hour to 45 minutes out on the grill. I run the grill really hot, kind of as hot as it'll get. And I got a couple things out there I'll show you when it's time to go outside and get the grill lit. Again, it's dark out there, so hopefully the video will come through well. But just gotta get those seasoned. You can see some of those sesame seeds on there from this, so that's good. Again, this one has salt. I might give a quick sprinkle. And let's season these ones up. I like to keep the wings close together. If you season it, you're pretty much going to get most of it. There might be little bits on the side. If you want to get really picky, you can fiddle with each wing and do it that way. But this way, there's less empty space for the rub to get through, and you end up not using quite as much rub. So, again, you want to get a pretty decent coating on here. Go all the way around, and then once we get this, we'll flip them over. We'll go outside and cook them, and then we're going to eat dinner later. So I'm excited for that. But again, yeah, nothing better than a chicken wing while watching a football game. If you're starting to plan your Super Bowl parties, chicken wings are always good for that as well. So get these flipped over and season the other side. There's a lot of other rubs you can use for this. I mean, there's a few different spicy ones I've had. The Meat Church Holy Voodoo is one we really like. There's one I recently got. Let me grab it out of the cupboard. You can see our filthy cupboard. Wing Commander by Fire and Flavor Society. I had some of these on Halloween. We made some wings, and those are good. It's pretty dark rub. There's a lot of pepper in there, and I forget if this one has charcoal. Yep, there's activated charcoal in this, but that makes a pretty good wing too. And I mean, you can go to any seasoning aisle in the store and find tons of different chicken rubs and buffalo chicken rubs and spicy rubs, and whatever you want to use is fine. These are a couple of the rubs that we've been liking lately. So let's get these all flipped over. Again, there's going to be a couple little edges here and there that don't have seasoning, but there's plenty of seasoning on the rest of it to make up for it. You kind of eat the whole thing in 1 or 2 bites anyway, so if you have a little bit that doesn't have seasoning, the rest of it will. Again, this is from Hardcore Carnivore. It's a lady named Jess Pryles. You should definitely follow her. She's got great content she puts out on her social media platforms, on her site. A ton of great recipes that I've used in the past. All her rubs I've tried are great. She also has her black rub. Well, again, this is a kind of a charcoal based rub. We love that on tri-tips and flank steak and things like that. But that's a great rub too. All her stuff I've tried is good. So these are all seasoned. I'm gonna go out and make sure the coals are all hot, and we'll be back in a few minutes out at the grill. All right, we're out here at the grill. Got a chimney full of charcoal lit. You could just dump it in and cook over the coals. I don't like cooking wings over direct heat. They have a lot of fat, melt down, flare-ups. You get black chicken. I'm not a fan of that. So I like to use something called the Vortex. It's basically just a metal ring that's slanted. Put the coals in there and the heat kind of radiates out, so you can get indirect cooking. Let me get a glove on before I grab this chimney. You get indirect cooking, but you still get a lot of heat, and a lot of heat is what we want. So let's give it a shake. Get some of the sparks out of there. Kind of put it right in the middle, and then you just want to dump in your charcoal. And this will run your kettle. Let me put that down. Sorry. This will run your kettle at about 400 to 500 degrees. Let me pick up a few of those coals and put them back in, and it'll keep that temperature for quite a while. It'll give you plenty of time to cook your wings. Again, it's going to take half hour to 45 minutes. Kind of just depends on how well done you like your wings. I usually try to go for about 45 minutes on them. And this kettle is one I pretty much almost exclusively use for wings now. You can use this method for thighs and drumsticks. Let me try to move this light so I don't get as many shadows. You can do thighs and drumsticks like this too. Chicken breast would work too, but I like thighs, drumsticks, wings. So let's start putting these wings on. We're just gonna put them all around the outside. We might have to double up a little bit, and this can get pretty hot, so you can use tongs if you want. But we just kind of ring them all around. After about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, I like to come flip them once. Helps get both sides cooked a little more evenly. So we'll put these ones with the Maui Wowee rub on one side, and then, like I said, after we're done cooking, we're gonna toss them with some batchin sauce. There's a nice little piece of skin that flopped there. If you want to, you can put some wood chunks on here. I think it's burning hot enough that wood won't really make that much difference, the smoke you get from the wood. But if you want to do it, you can. It always smells good, always smells nice. And you can tell people they're applewood smoked wings or whatever you want. You can cook wings at a lower temperature. You can cook them low and slow. I'm just gonna move this lid off for a minute. I'm gonna get that piece of fat off there. That's flaring up a bit too much. Just shove that down there. One bad thing about wings is it does make your grill quite messy, especially cooking them like this. So we'll see if we can get these on without catching our shirt on fire. We'll switch hands. But yeah, you just want to kind of get them all ringed around. They don't have, you can space them out as much as you want. You can leave them a little bit closer. They do shrink up just a bit as you're cooking. So if you start them out touching, they should be okay. We're gonna have to go a little bit more on the second layer, the second ring around with these. So let's start going back over here. So like I said, this is going to keep the kettle running 400 to 500 degrees, and that's what we want. I don't really bother with measuring the temperature. I don't put any sort of great probe in it, but I just know that a full vortex of charcoal is going to keep this plenty warm enough. I might have to come over to this side a bit. Let's move these ones over. Give myself a little bit more room with these, since there's a few more of them. If you have some bigger wings and smaller ones, put the bigger ones closer to the fire. I always want to put the drumette side close to pointing to the fire if I can. So hopefully you can see in the video. Now that one got turned around. And one more over here. So there you go. I think it was 3 pounds of wings. I could be wrong, but what do we got? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, about 60 wings on here. If I need to cook more, I use one of my bigger kettles. Maybe someday I'll show you cooking like 120 wings on the ranch kettle. I did that over for Halloween. That's always fun. But lid goes on, vents all the way open. Again, we just want as much heat in here as we can. The wings can handle it. They're not going to get too dry. If you want to come out every 10 minutes or so, rotate it so the heat's kind of going out different ways, that's fine. But we're just going to leave this. Like I said, I'm going to flip them in 20 minutes, come back in, I don't know, 40, 45 minutes when the rest of dinner is ready, and we will show you what the final product looks like. All right, we're about, I don't know, 45 minutes in. We flipped these about 20 minutes in. Let me move this, get the shadow out of the way. But as you can see, they're looking great. They got some good color on them. Time to get these off. So we're gonna pull these off. It's always nice to have a glove to get them off. Let's get these Maui Wowee wings off first. Here, I'll get out of the way so we can kind of see a little better. We'll get these off first. Again, we're gonna toss these with some Batchin's Japanese barbecue sauce, which is just utterly delicious. It's wonderful on wings, kind of gives you like an Asian teriyaki type of flavor, especially with this rub. Again, this has like soy and pineapple powder and tamarind, I believe. Was that in there? But yeah, it's kind of an Asian flavored rub. So we'll get these off here. Sometimes I like to just roll the wings over the coals, get an extra little crisp. You got to be careful because they burn in like a heartbeat. So you leave them just for a second, flip them over. You can see it, yeah, you can already see it has more color than it did. So I won't have you watch me get all these off. We're gonna get all these off. I'll go inside, we'll toss these with the sauce. We'll give these a little taste. we'll see how these all are. So, be back in a minute. GoPro, stop recording. All right, we're in. We got our wings. I'm just gonna give these a quick little taste. They're still blazing hot. That's wonderful. I mean, the flavor of the pasture-raised wings, like I said, it's much more intense than you get from standard wings. I got these ones from Crowd Cow, and I'll have a link down for them below. There's also another place, Pasture Bird, that I like to get chicken wings from. I think the ones I got were $7-ish a pound. Normal chicken wings nowadays, they're like $3 to $4, maybe even $5 a pound, depending on where you get them. So yeah, it's more expensive than standard chicken, but I think in some instances it's worth it. So let's put a few of these in our bowl here. We'll toss them, and again, I'm going to use the spicy batches. The regular is really good too. It's really good, but with wings, a little bit of spice. You don't need a ton in there. You just want to get a nice coating on the wings. If you want more, use more. But just toss them around, and let's take a bite of this one. That's such a good flavor. The spice on this, it's enough to let you know it's spicy. It's not going to melt your face off or anything, so don't be worried that. It's not like super, super, super hot. Just enough to give it a little bit of kick. I think it's perfect on these wings. So, again, we got pasture-raised wings. We seasoned them with a couple different seasonings. We put them on the Weber Kettle with the Vortex. I think that was a medium-sized Vortex, if I'm remembering right. With like a chimney full of charcoal in them. Let them go for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Flipped them, cooked them another 20 minutes, and they're ready to eat. So there's really not a lot to it. It's kind of a hands-off thing once you get them on there. If you want to dry brine the wings ahead of time, you can use a little bit of salt. You kind of got to base it depending on what rub you use. A salty rub, you want less salt to start. If it's not a salty rub, like the Maui Wowee, use a little more salt. Kind of helps dry out the skin. I didn't do it for these. But get your wings dry, season them, put them on the grill, cook them, and eat them. So, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please ask below. Let me know. I'll have links to all the stuff, to the Vortex, to the sauce, to the different rubs, to the chicken wings. And I look forward to hearing all your questions and comments. Thanks for watching.